Sure, here's a motivational speech inspired by David Goggins' style. Raw, intense, and straight to the point. Without mentioning his name. You're tired, good, you're supposed to be. That's what it feels like when you're pushing beyond comfort. That's the sign you're not coasting anymore. You don't grow in comfort. You grow in the grind, in the dark hours, when nobody's watching and your mind is begging you to quit. You've got goals, right? Dreams. You say you want more, but every morning you hit snooze. Every evening you make excuses. You talk about how hard it is, how unfair life has been. But guess what? Nobody cares. That pain, that struggle. It's the cost of becoming something greater than you are right now. You don't need motivation. You need discipline. Motivation fades. It's soft. Discipline is what drags you out of bed when your body says no. Discipline is what forces you to do the work even when it sucks, even when you're tired, even when you see no results. Because deep down you know, every rep, every step, every drop of sweat is building someone unrecognizable. Someone unstoppable. It's not about talent, it's not about luck. It's about how far you're willing to push when it's hard, when it's boring, when it's lonely. That's when winners are made, not on game day. Not in front of the crowd, but in the silence of your own decisions. You want to be great. Get up and get it done. No excuses, no waiting. The world owes you nothing. If you want something, you better be ready to bleed for it. You better be ready to suffer, to struggle, and to sacrifice. Because the life you want, it's on the other side of that grind. You can stay soft. You can keep lying to yourself. Or you can step up and do what needs to be done. No matter how you feel, no matter how long it takes, get up, get it done, and don't stop until you become everything they said you couldn't be. Growth doesn't come from comfort. It never has, and it never will. Comfort is the enemy of progress. When you're warm, well, rested, and everything is going your way, you're not being tested, you're not being shaped, you're simply existing. True growth, the kind that changes who you are at the core, only happens when you step into discomfort, when you willingly put yourself in situations that challenge your limits and stretch your mindset. Think about the gym. You don't build muscle by lifting what's easy. You build it by going to failure, by tearing the muscle down so it can rebuild stronger. Life works the same way. Emotional strength, mental toughness, discipline. They all grow from adversity. They come when you choose to keep going through pain, through fatigue, through fear. You can't write about that. You can't fake that. You earn it. Most people avoid discomfort. They hit the first wall and retreat. They say, it's not for me, or maybe later. But those are just excuses to stay small. Those are shields we hold up to protect ourselves from the truth. That we're afraid to hurt, afraid to fail, afraid to face what we really are without the filters. But here's the harsh reality. If you never step into the fire, you'll never be forged by it. Every time you choose discomfort on purpose, getting up earlier, taking the cold shower, finishing the workout, starting that project, making that hard decision, you take a piece of the old, soft version of you and destroy it. You replace it with something stronger, sharper, more focused. And the best part, it stacks. Those little decisions build momentum. They become habits. And before you know it, you've built a mindset that thrives under pressure, that doesn't break when things get hard, because it expects hard. So don't chase ease. Don't wait until it feels right. Growth lives in the moments you'd rather avoid. The uncomfortable conversations, the lonely nights of discipline, the early mornings, the quiet grind. That's where your future self is being built. And the more you lean into discomfort, the more power you take from it. Because once you realize pain isn't the enemy, but the process, you become dangerous. You don't grow when it's easy. You grow when you're tired, stressed, doubting yourself. But you do it anyway. That's the gap between average and greatness. Most will never cross it, but you can. You just have to decide that comfort will no longer control you. And then you step into the discomfort every day and do the work. Motivation is fleeting. It comes and goes like the weather. Some days you wake up feeling fired up, ready to take on the world. Other days you feel like staying in bed, like skipping the workout, like putting off the work. If you rely on motivation to get things done, you're setting yourself up to fail, because it won't always be there when you need it. That's where discipline comes in. Discipline is the real engine of progress. It's what shows up when motivation disappears. Discipline is doing what needs to be done, especially when you don't feel like it. It's waking up early when your body wants more sleep. It's putting in the reps when your muscles are screaming. It's writing, studying, working, training. On the days you feel tired, unmotivated, or frustrated, discipline doesn't ask how you feel. It doesn't care. It simply asks what needs to be done, and then it does it. The problem is we've been conditioned to chase feelings. We wait to feel ready. We wait to feel inspired, but waiting is a trap. If you sit around waiting to feel good before you take action, you'll waste weeks, months, even years. Discipline, on the other hand, doesn't wait. It acts, and the crazy thing, the action itself often creates the motivation. You don't feel like training, but you go anyway, and 10 minutes in, you find your rhythm. That's discipline flipping the switch. That's how momentum is born. Discipline is what builds character. It's what separates the people who talk from the people who execute. Talk is cheap. Everyone has dreams. Everyone wants the result, but few are willing to suffer through the process. Discipline embraces the process. It doesn't chase shortcuts. It puts in the work day after day, knowing that consistency compounds. Knowing that every brick laid, no matter how small, is building something unbreakable. And here's the truth. Discipline is a skill. It's not something you're born with. It's something you train. Every time you choose the hard path, every time you do what's right instead of what's easy, you strengthen that muscle. You make it harder to quit, harder to fall off, harder to lose. Over time, discipline becomes who you are, not just something you do. So stop relying on how you feel. You can't control your emotions, but you can control your actions. Decide what needs to be done and commit to doing it, no matter what. That's how goals are crushed. That's how people rise from average to elite, not through hype or inspiration, but through quiet, brutal, consistent discipline. It's easy to believe that success belongs to the talented, that some people are just born with it, natural athletes, gifted speakers, brilliant minds. That belief gives people an excuse. I'm not built like them. They say, I don't have the genetics, the background, the ick. But the truth is, talent is overrated. Talent might give you a head start, but it doesn't guarantee you'll win. What actually separates the good from the great is consistency. Relentless, day in and day, out effort. The people who show up, rain or shine, when no one's clapping and no one's watching, those are the ones who rise. Consistency is the most underrated superpower. It's boring, it's repetitive, but it works. You don't become strong by doing one incredible workout. You don't become wise by reading one book. You don't become elite by one big win. Greatness is built in the small, unseen actions repeated over time. It's brushing up against failure day after day and still choosing to keep going. That's where transformation lies. The world is full of talented people who never went anywhere. People who had potential but no follow-through. They started strong, they looked promising, but they didn't stick around long enough to see results. Talent without discipline fades, but consistency, that compounds. It builds resilience, it builds skill, it builds habits that eventually make you unstoppable. The key is showing up even when it's not glamorous, when progress is slow, when it feels like nothing is changing. Most people give up in those moments. They think their effort isn't working, but they don't realize the results come asterisk after asterisk the repetition. You don't plant a seed and dig it up every day to see if it's growing. You water it, you protect it, you show up, and then one day it breaks the surface. That's how consistency works. Quiet effort, followed by a loud breakthrough. Even if you're not the best, you can outlast those who are. You can outwork them, outlearn them, and out-discipline them. You can build something with your hands that others thought only talent could create. Every time you choose to keep going when others stop, you're proving that consistency beats talent. You're stacking small wins, and over time, those stacks become walls. Walls that others can't climb because they gave up too soon. So stop waiting to feel like you're good enough to begin. Stop comparing yourself to people with head starts. Focus on your pace, focus on your process, and most importantly, focus on showing up every day. That's how you win, not by being born special, but by becoming someone who simply refuses to quit. Struggle isn't the obstacle, it's the path. Most people see pain, setbacks, boredom, and sacrifice as signs they're doing something wrong, but they're not. They're signs you're on the right track. Growth lives in the struggle. Every time you feel like quitting, like it's too hard, like you're not cut out for it, that's exactly when you're being shaped into something more. The struggle isn't a punishment, it's the process. Comfort won't change you. It might feel good, but it doesn't demand anything from you. Struggle, on the other hand, demands everything. It strips you down, it exposes your weaknesses, it puts pressure on every part of you, your patience, your discipline, your mindset. And in that pressure, you either crumble or you harden. You either make excuses or you make progress. The choice is yours. People want success without sacrifice. They want the body without the workouts, the career without the grind, the confidence without the scars. But the reality is, you don't get strong by avoiding struggle. You get strong asterisk through asterisk it. You earn it every drop of sweat, every moment you show up tired, every night you spend working while others are relaxing. It all adds up. Struggle is the currency you pay for transformation. The hardest part, it doesn't come with applause. No one cheers for you when you're grinding in silence. No one hands you a trophy for getting up early, eating clean, staying disciplined, or failing and starting over. But that's where the real work happens. Not on the big stage, but in the quiet moments when you choose the hard road again and again. When you struggle and still keep going, struggle teaches you things success never will. It teaches you humility, because it will break you before it builds you. It teaches you patience, because it doesn't reward you overnight. And it teaches you grit, because you'll want to quit 1,000 times before you finally break through. That's what makes it valuable. Anyone can do what's easy, but pushing through what's hard, that's rare. And that's where greatness is born. So if you're struggling right now, good, that means you're moving. That means you're not sitting still, not coasting, not hiding in your comfort zone. Embrace it. Don't run from it. Struggle isn't the sign you should stop, it's the sign you're just beginning to wake up to your potential. Everything you want is on the other side of it, but you have to earn your way through, and that means showing up even when it hurts. No one is coming to save you. That's the truth most people don't want to hear. It's easier to blame others, to point fingers at circumstances, to wait for a break, or for someone to believe in you. But the reality is, everything you want in life depends on one person, you. Your actions, your mindset, your decisions, the faster you take ownership of everything in your life, your failures, your flaws, your progress, the faster you gain the power to change it. Responsibility is not a burden. It's a weapon. When you own your life fully, you stop being a victim of your circumstances. You stop making excuses. You stop waiting, because you realize that blaming the world gets you nowhere. Wishing things were different changes nothing. But taking control, even when it's hard, moves everything forward. People say, it's not my fault. Maybe not. Maybe you were dealt a bad hand. Maybe life hit you harder than it hits others, but it's still your responsibility to respond. You can't control what happened to you, but you can control what you do next. And that response is what separates people who stay stuck from those who rise. Taking ownership means no more pity parties. It means no more hiding behind distractions. It means looking in the mirror and saying, asterisk, this is on me and I'm going to fix it. Asterisk, that doesn't mean beating yourself up. It means holding yourself to a higher standard. It means demanding more from yourself because you know you're capable of more. It means doing what needs to be done regardless of how you feel. Ownership is freedom. When you stop blaming the outside world, you reclaim power over your inner world. You stop waiting for motivation. You stop needing validation. You become your own force of progress. You become someone who shows up, not because it's easy or convenient, but because it's necessary, because you've decided that your life is your responsibility and no one else's. And here's what happens when you live that way. People start to notice. They see the discipline. They see the consistency. They see someone who doesn't complain, doesn't quit, doesn't shift blame. They see someone dangerous. Someone who can't be broken by circumstance because they've built themselves from the inside out. And most of all, they see someone who owns their life. So stop waiting. Stop blaming. Stop hoping someone will come and do it for you. No one's coming. You've got to be your own rescue. You've got to be the one who gets up, takes charge, and gets to work. Own your life completely, and you'll be amazed how much power you already had. Excuses are easy. Execution is rare. Most people are filled with reasons why they can't. Why now isn't the right time. Why they're tired, busy, overwhelmed, unlucky. They build stories to protect their comfort. But while they're explaining why they haven't started, someone else is out there getting it done. Quietly, ruthlessly, relentlessly. Execution doesn't care about your feelings. It doesn't wait for the perfect time. It demands action now. If you want to change your life, it starts with doing, not talking, not planning endlessly, not waiting for the stars to align, just doing. The action doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be consistent, because the secret is this: most people don't fail from lack of potential. They fail because they never actually begin, or they quit too soon. They don't follow through, they dabble. They dip their toes in and back out the moment it gets cold. But those who win, they go all in. They commit with their full weight. They don't ask, what if I fail? They ask, what will it cost me if I don't try? You will never feel 100% ready. There will never be a perfect moment. There will always be discomfort, fear, and resistance. That's normal, but the ones who rise, the ones who separate from the pack are the ones who act in spite of it. They show up, they take the first step, and then they take another and another, until the thing that once scared them becomes second nature, until the grind becomes fuel, until they are no longer recognizable to the version of themselves that used to hesitate. And here's the truth. Once you start executing, even on the smallest level, you begin to change. You build confidence, not by thinking positive thoughts, but by proving to yourself through repeated action that you can be trusted, that you follow through, that you do the work. That mindset becomes your armor. You stop fearing hard things because you've done hard things. You stop flinching at adversity because you've faced it down and kept moving. So here it is, the final truth. You either get it done or you don't. There's no middle ground. You either let the excuses run your life or you decide that enough is enough. You draw the line, you say asterisk, no more talking, no more waiting, no more wishing. Asterisk, you get up. You get moving, and you don't stop until the job is done. Get up, get it done, not tomorrow, not when it's easy, now. No matter how you feel, no matter how long the road, no matter who doubts you. You don't need approval. You don't need perfect conditions. You just need to act, step by step, day by day, until your life reflects the work you put in. Let them doubt you, let them underestimate you, let them watch. And then asterisk, let them see what happens when you stop making excuses and start executing like your life depends on it. Asterisk, because it does.